we're announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. Now,
guys, this is psychopathic stuff.
Mark my words that this attack on Iran is going to result within a month. We'll have an incident here in the United States where American citizens are going to die, and it's going to be labeled a terror attack. And of course, Iran is going to be responsible for it. But don't doubt for a second that it's not Iran who did it and that it originated right here, because they will do whatever is necessary at this point in order to stop the midterm elections. And if we have a terror attack or two, then that gives him reason to declare martial law, just for our safety, of course.
This is new video we just got, and this is of Donald Trump last night partying it up with millionaires and billionaires in a $1 million fundraiser hours before he attacked Iran. He literally went from raising money for himself to bombing innocent children in hours.
Way back in 1932, the German unemployment rate was 30%. That meant that 7 million people were out of work. And the German people, well, they were starving. They were poor beyond comprehension. And they were forced to pay enormous mounting debt to foreign powers. German central bank, well, it was privately controlled by the Rothschilds. And so in 1933, this no-name painter, well, he came into power out of nowhere. And he immediately sets out to restore the German economy and to free the German working man from the Rothschilds' debt slavery system. So this painter, well, he kicks out the Rothschilds, just like Putin just did in Russia. Takes Germany off of the Rothschilds-controlled gold standard and issues new debt and interest-free money to the German people. The German economy instantly rebounds and it begins to recover, and hundreds of thousands of Germans are awarded jobs in public works, and their economy begins booming, and everyone is happy, everyone is ecstatic, everyone but the Rothschilds and their private fucking banks. They start to build a mighty infrastructure with the new money system that has been awarded to them, and they begin to value the work of physical labor. So this painter, he begins building world-class stadiums and transportation systems that the world had never seen. German engineers, they become the new standard of excellence, and they begin to lead science, and in biology and in health and in physics and in mathematics and in fucking everything. So at this point, the Germans are thoroughly satisfied with this new painter who had recently come into power, and they thank him for freeing them from the debt slavery of the Rothschilds. And while hundreds of thousands of modern houses are being created throughout Germany, and the Germans unexpectedly become incredibly wealthy because they no longer have to pay interest to a private central bank. Well, the new economic system allows the German working man to reap what they sow. And German workers experience the best working conditions in Europe in all of time. They're given government-backed holidays. All of this takes place while the rest of Europe was enslaved by the usury system and forced to suffer with it. In 1936, this painter's approval rating was just over 99%. Germany was finally experiencing true economic freedom from the Rothschilds' banking system, just like Russia is about to in the coming weeks and in the coming months and in the coming years, after kicking those motherfucking satanic PDF files out of their country. Semites are not just who you think they are. You've been taught that a criminal gang that has control of your financial system and has had control over it for the last fucking 300 years, that they are your greatest ally. And you've been admonished to question anything that this group of people is doing in their quest for world domination. They are planning genocide. They are doing genocide. I'm not the person that you should be concerned with.
Representative Tim Burchett has just said that the unreleased Epstein material contains satanic details that will shock the world. It was also right about that time that he started saying this.
Find them guilty and hang them publicly. I mean, that's not over the top either. I'm ready. I'm over it. It disgusts me.
What we are dealing with here is not a battle of left versus right. This is a battle of good versus evil. We need to keep being loud. We need to demand that these files turn into trials and that these demons are removed from our society.
I remember a time where you used to get banned from certain social media platforms for trying to speak about this shit. That is why so many people are not shocked. And everybody now that's just discovering and going on a deep dive, I give you a word of warning. Be careful. Look after your fucking head and your mental well-being, because whatever you think or whatever you can imagine a level of evil that you're about to discover, I need you to times it by 100,000, because the level you're going to read is like nothing your brain could have ever imagined or comprehended.
Did you know that sugar, when you eat it, a donut, Pop-Tart, piece of bread, doesn't matter, Kool-Aid, Dr. Pepper, did you know that when you swallow sugar, they have known for 70 years that it goes inside your bone marrow and it suppresses within 45 minutes your body's ability to produce white blood cells that fight infections like bacteria, yeast, viruses, funguses, and parasites? Did you know that it literally shuts off your immune system and makes you more susceptible to all viruses, all infections? And did you know that they compared sugar to prednisone? Prednisone is a steroid. And do you know that its job is to suppress your immune system? In fact, it's called an immune system suppressant. Did you know that sugar suppresses your immune system more than prednisone does?
There's this new trend going around called Goy Slop, where basically like fitness and health content creators are now realizing that every single product in American grocery stores, right down to your cleaning products, your body soap, your shampoo, your conditioner, your Windex, your food, your cereal, your protein, your meat, so on and so forth, is Goy Slop. And Goy Slop is basically food that they intentionally poison to get you sick while charging you for something that doesn't even cure it, really just treats the symptoms, right? So the pharmaceutical companies own the food manufacturing companies, own the farmland, and they're all in bed with the government. And that's why they call it Goy Slop, because our government is currently being ran by the Prime Minister of Israel, who hates Goyams, who hates Shiksas and Gentiles and anybody he doesn't deem to be a Semitic Jew, even though he isn't even a fucking Semitic Jew. They are intentionally making us sick. The Goy Slop decreases your hormones. It gives you cancer. It gives you obesity. And then they're withholding cures. The rest of the world has cures for these diseases, whereas the United States has a treatment that makes you another customer. So fall down the rabbit hole of fucking Goy Slop and start finding healthy alternatives.
If we cared about nuclear proliferation, we would be bombing Israel and not Iran. Israel is who attacked American maritime vessels repeatedly through the 70s and the 80s to acquire nuclear materials and nuclear devices. Yes, Israel has American nukes. Additionally, Israel committed 9/11. They blew up the towers on 9/11. That was a controlled demolition. Go watch it. They killed JFK when JFK tried to force AIPAC to register as a foreign agent. If AIPAC was a foreign agent, all of our senators are guilty of fucking treason other than Thomas Massey. Go look. And our president is too. Oh, yeah, additionally, they funded ISIS. Every nation in the Middle East, Libya, Syria, Iran, were all attacked by ISIS, other than Israel. It's not hard to figure out who fucking funded them. So if we care about peace in the Middle East and nuclear proliferation, we're bombing Israel, not Iran.
So the U.S. just killed and wounded around 200 people in Pakistan. Shouldn't have gone to war with Iran. And while all you dumbasses are cheering on American military exceptionalism against third world savages, your words, not mine, y'all can't even go to the doctor. You live in the only developed nation on Earth that doesn't have universal health care. Soon you will not own anything, and every aspect of your life will be surveilled and paywalled by the ruling parasite class. While you cheer on the sinking of Iranian naval vessels, just know that you have more in common with those drowned sailors than you will ever have with the billionaire pedophiles running our government. So when you celebrate the death of third world savages, just know that's projection. You are the third world savage. You're impoverished. You don't own anything. You're uneducated. A tyrannically militant ruling elite has taken it all from you, and you're cheering on the death of people you don't even know or understand. I've been all through this world. They don't hate us for our freedom. They actually believe we don't have freedom because we functionally do not have freedom, and they don't envy us. People come here illegally because we bomb them, displace them, overthrow their governments, and have nowhere else to go. It's a tough concept, but you'll get it. Just know that a better future is possible, but first y'all gotta wake up and realize your life sucks. Your life sucks because 1,000 uber-rich people who hate you and think the only point of your existence is to serve as money cattle? That's why. And the only thing our government has to offer you is violence.
For anybody who's saying that they wouldn't start a war to keep the Epstein files from coming out, I would like to remind you of this.
Not releasing the Epstein files! Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down.
It sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid.
About what's going on in Texas at one of the ICE detention facilities and the blue butterfly zones. So if you don't know, has been taking girls ages 13 to 18 from their families and placing them in designated separate units only ICE agents have access to. A part of Holocaust history that is not talked about enough, and there are a lot of reasons why it is not talked about enough, is that Auschwitz had a brothel. Auschwitz had a full functioning brothel. It was called Block 24. About 1943 to 1945, the Nazis created this whole block that was a brothel, forced women into this area to service capos. Capos were people, prisoners. In order to survive, they became like a guard, essentially. They corralled the prisoners. They kept everybody in line. They did a lot of the dirty work, the day-to-day hands-on work that the Nazi guards want to do. And these capos had privileges, better food, better water, better living spaces. You do enough things, you meet your quota, you get access to this brothel where, use your imagination what happened inside those. It is one of the most horrifying parts of the Holocaust that is not talked about enough. What these women went through is truly one of the most horrifying pieces of that history that is just not talked about enough. A lot of the survivors of Block 24 didn't want to talk about it. Obvious reasons.
We are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
I don't even know what to say. You know what? Just...
Ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Tyler Oliveira? No? You guys ever heard of Tyler? No? Well, maybe you have, because he has 8.3 million followers on YouTube. He's a YouTube viral sensation. He pulls stunts and he goes and figures out where Hitler was actually buried at in Argentina. He was one of the first YouTubers to rent jet skis and go tour Epstein's Island. The dude's an absolute legend. Now, I'm sure you probably didn't hear about the Jewish enclave that he exposed called Curious Joel in New York.
This is Curious Joel, a village of 44,000 Hasidic Jews in upstate New York that primarily speak Yiddish, have an average of 7 kids per family, rely heavily on state assistance and welfare programs like Medicare, SNAP, housing assistance, and tax credits from their many kids. How many kids do most people have out here?
17, 18.
How do they afford 17, 18 kids?
They are proud to do what the Torah says, that you need to be multiple and fruitful.
Wow. How do people afford to have like 10 kids out here?
The community is based on this. So
is it wealthy members of the community give charity?
Yes, mostly.
I don't talk to suspicious person.
How am I suspicious? Do you study Torah?
You work for Hamas?
What do you do for work?
Nothing.
How do you make money?
My wife.
Your wife?
I'm doing home care.
Brokerage, construction.
Are most people on Medicaid, SNAP, EBT?
I don't know. I can't speak for other people.
What about you?
I'm not going to tell about myself.
The one thing I am curious about, though, is the welfare use. Are you on welfare?
No. The Jewish people, just from Curious Joel, their taxes covers everything that we take back. They pay a lot of property tax.
Do you know anyone on welfare here?
I won't comment on that question.
Come on.
No.
Why not?
No.
What do you guys do for work here? You guys have like businesses, work a job, study Torah?
I have a job.
What do you do?
I'm in sales.
What do you sell?
Food.
Okay. What food do you sell?
Chocolates.
What? I feel like I'm getting bamboozled right here. Excuse me. You guys take EBT?
We do.
What percentage of people would you say use EBT for their groceries here?
100%.
100%? What percentage would you say?
35%.
A little bit difficult to conclude what to take away from that. Let's pop in here and say shalom. Synagogue? Okay. Lots of people praying. I'm not sure the schedule exactly, but 9 o'clock sharp, they're not at work. Question for you. What do most men do for work here? Can you give me some ideas?
Oh. I'm just asking Hasidic Jews out here. What do you mean? Do people here survive off of welfare?
There is a percent, like all of the communities. You have 8 kids. You can also get benefits.
It's $2.59. Why aren't people at work?
These are all teenagers.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
You gotta wonder what these people do for employment. So if you want to talk about Sharia law and people living in a theocratic ethnic enclave, look no further. Curious Joel is an example of only Jews living here, and a lot of them are tapping into welfare benefits.
Country just, my God, not Donald Trump ritualistically handing Netanyahu the keys to the country just in case anyone's still confused as to who's sitting in the driver's seat.
This was a special token of affection. We call it a key to the White House, and it's a key to our country.
Meanwhile, the Trump regime is spending hundreds of millions of dollars to move hundreds of billions of dollars worth of U.S. military might to the region surrounding Iran, which is the most that's been in that region since the war in Iraq. So it's looking a bit like the no new wars president might just be on the cusp of drawing the United States into what potentially could be one of the biggest wars in modern history, which incidentally is a war that this guy, you know, the guy that holds the keys to your country, has been trying to drag America into for literally over 30 years.
Iran is now trying to develop nuclear bombs. I think the United States should be very clear in forming an international coalition.
The most dangerous of these regimes is Iran. I believe that only the United States can lead this vital international effort.
Next spring, at most, by next summer. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks.
Now, I am aware that a lot of Iranian people very much despise the current regime and would very much like to see them out of power. And I agree. These are awful, awful, monstrous people who undeniably and uncontroversially do awful, awful, monstrous things. Yes, I am talking to you, people who believe that Iran being the enemy of Israel and the West somehow automatically makes them the good guys. Geopolitics is not a cartoon. There's no good guys. It's just psychos fighting with psychos over who gets to have the most power to abuse the innocent with. Personally, I would love to see the people of Iran oust a government that clearly does not represent the will of its people and replace them with one that does. But if you think this is a good thing, if you think US interventionism might just be the path to that, then I beg you to look up the history of US interventionism, because that's not where the path leads. The most likely outcome here is a broken, fractured Iran with several factions vying for power, controlling various territories, leading to a permanent state of destabilization and chaos for the next several decades, which incidentally would align quite nicely with the ambitions of this man who has been quite open and forward about his desire to expand his country's power and control in the region, and quite transparent about which oppositional power represents the biggest obstacle towards achieving that. And that's not the only thing that's happened under Donald Trump's leadership that seems to align very nicely with this man's ambition. He accused Venezuela of being in cahoots with Hamas.
Venezuela, they're in cahoots with the Maduro regime. You know, they're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States.
And a few months later, Maduro was being paraded around in a Nike tech fleece like some sort of disheveled, retired. And suddenly Venezuelan oil was being priority expressed to his front doorstep. Not to mention that one of his political party's major platforms is and always has been to prevent the formation of a new state, you know the state I'm talking about, at all costs. And under the leadership of Donald Trump, with a healthy assist from Joe Biden, of course, we will give credit to those who deserve it, the place where a large portion of the people whose state he doesn't want to exist live has been completely demolished and rendered uninhabitable. And now plans are being made and funded that seem designed to force the native people to leave by pricing them out, turning their homeland into a giant beach resort / casino / shopping mall for the wealthy and decadent. Kind of a strategy of ethnic cleansing via gentrification. It seems to me that so far Trump's second term has been a dream come true for him at the expense of him breaking pretty much every promise he made to get himself elected in the first place. You know, America first, no foreign wars, no foreign interventions, no sending tens of billions of dollars to aid other countries when people in our country are suffering and need aid themselves. If I didn't know any better, I'd say somebody might have some kind of dirt on him that they're using as a kind of leash, you know, to make him do as he's told and be a good little boy.
where they were filming us. It was me and a girl that I knew that I had been trafficked with in other venues. And while we were filming, they came in and shot her in the head. So, obviously.
So there was, during the 2 months, there was at least 5 girls, and the were all related to the Trump-Epstein file ring. There was executions, snuff film, silencing the girls.
At the Epstein files, it continues. It's even worse. I just spent hours listening to another testimony. And again, I'm not talking about just trafficking. I'm talking about outrageous films, murdering young, I would say children, youth. They're supposed to be graveyards filled with missing kids, and no one knew who they were. There is a testimony, Sasha Riley. I ask people to go and investigate and listen to it yourself.
Riley's saying that he and other victims were being held in like dog kennels and cages to like dehumanize them. There's all this kind of trauma-based conditioning that was going on where they would take these children and at first they would abuse them. Then they would have the children abuse other children so that they had it in their heads that they're also the bad guy so that they would never come up and speak about what they had been through. There's medical torture.
So this next clip involves Trump and puppies.
I can remember at one point him asking the people that were kind of running that party or whatever it was at that farm, he wanted to kill somebody. He wanted to murder somebody. And they said, hey, that's not this kind of party. You can't do that. And in lieu of doing that, they said, well, we've got some puppies. If you just want to kill something, we've got to get rid of them anyway. I can remember him taking those puppies one by one, and like he snapped one of the puppies' necks. He cut one open and let it just howl and you know, writhe in pain while it died. Held one under some water to kill it. He wanted to hurt those puppies in you know, whatever gruesome way, you know, to experience, I guess, seeing them suffer in different ways. What his kink is, I guess, if you want to call it that, is watching people suffer. I kind of acquiesced to whatever sexual things that he wanted to do, but at some point, he wanted me to have with him.
Talking about
he
Trump.
lay down on his stomach, and there was a wooden tent stake that was in the room, and I had been eyeballing it as a weapon. And what I did was put the condom on the wooden tent stake, put it inside of him, and I kicked it as hard as I could. And that's why he had to get life flighted out, because I ripped him open.
Yeah.
And my plan was to continue hurting him to death. But as soon as I did that, he started screaming, and those same people busted back in.
When you kicked the tent peg into Trump's anus, you said it tore Trump's backside open, anus open.
Yes.
There's a lot of gossip, discussion about Donald Trump's being incontinent since several years ago. I remember some folks that worked on the television series The Apprentice, they said Donald Trump had to wear diapers. And that...
I would bet it's because I ripped him open.
The people that control all of us, that make your laws, they are criminals. Pure, power-driven, egotistical, self-driven criminals. And their job is to sell our emotions for us to rally behind them. It's all part of false idols. You believing in a false idol. And they're leading all of us straight into the pits.
Okay, are you paying attention? As of yesterday, March 1st, 2026, President Donald John Trump has been proclaimed the savior of Israel, according to the Jerusalem Post. The same Jerusalem Post has said this. August 29th, 2019, Jerusalem Post said, the King Messiah, Trump, with his hand on the Wailing Wall, wearing his little yarmulke. But he's a Christian. Hey, speaking of yarmulkes, did you hear what Bibi said today? Here, Let me show you.
Never been a president like Donald J. Trump. His resoluteness, his decisiveness, his clarity of thinking, the way he gets right to the crux of things. It cuts through all the fluff, cuts through the chase, gets down to the main point, and it gets down to the main action that needs to be taken. And I think for Israel, and I think for the countries of the free world, let me tell you, I think for the world, we're very lucky to have him as the leader of the free world, and in fact, the leader of the world. He's brought America back to being the leader of the world.
Meta patented an AI that is supposed to replace you when you die and manage your social media. You know what that's really for? For the depopulation agenda to go unnoticed, so you have no idea your friend is dead.
President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. This is what the US military is being told, why we are starting the war in Iran right now.
I need to speak my mind on this. I just cannot stay quiet. Guinness World Record just gave Israel a world record on the most kidney donations. Are you letting that process in your head? Are you realizing what world we live in right now? They watched it happen. The whole world saw it happen, witnessed it happen, live television. They gave them a world record for most kidney donations, and they put it donations. What the They watched it happen. They harvested Palestinian organs. They returned bodies to their families empty. And you gave them a Guinness record for that bullshit? Is that how sick society we live in right now? Containers filled with bodies returned to their families, emptied, harvested. And I'm yelling because this is the only way I can release this energy, because we live in a sick society to a point we're letting it happen. Not only let it happen, we witness it happen, and hey, now they got a record for it.
The House of Representatives just passed a bill that gives the soldiers of the IDF, that's the Israeli Defense Force, you now have Israeli Defense Force foreign military receiving United States military benefits.
This is true.
Wow, what he just said, what Joey just said, people here can't even afford health insurance, and now they're giving it to a foreign country, which in my opinion is a fucking enemy. They're the most disgusting, evil country on earth that has attacked the United States multiple times. And you're going to give them benefits? And you're telling me these deserve to live? These politicians deserve to be alive? Get the fuck out of here. They're all fucking traitors and they deserve to all be fucking hung.
No, you're right. Trump is not a Christian, but he is certainly profiting off of all of this real estate, isn't he? Especially when it was his son-in-law who orchestrated the entire thing. Remember, he gave him a shout out in the State of the Union just last week. And then remember this clip from last January posted on Truth Social by Trump? Here, I'll play it back so that you remember.
Set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1.
He may not be faithful, but he's certainly faithful to the money.
Ready for this. I wasn't ready for this. Follow for more, and I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole really goes.
Point-blank questions. Why do the Jews feel, or is this just a paranoid, schizophrenic feeling that everyone in this country is looking at them, want to do things to them and stuff like that?
Well, they better not look at us too hard or accuse us, because that's anti-Semitism. We catch you with anti-Semitism, we can throw a book at you. Remember, we control the court system, all the Jew judges, the Jew lawyers, the Jew prosecutors, and we wrote most of the law. Not us necessarily, but we pay our goyim in Washington, D.C., the Democrats and the Republicans. They sit around and we have them write up laws. We tell them what to do, they put it on the paper. We don't actually even do the work.
You know, we are on two totally opposite sides of this planet, and both of us have two totally different wants and needs and desires against one another, and yet here we are, sitting here tonight live on the Turner Radio Network, discoursing about people, discoursing about things, being honest and truthful, and telling the truth to the masses, but you know, the masses have a hard time believing anything.
Well, we've done a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries, and especially the last few hundred years. We've just brainwashed them completely. They believe anything we tell them. And, you know, in the meantime, we have a lot of fun.
Listen to
around
this.
Passover where we steal the children. And, you know, I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. I mean, we steal 100,000 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country. And we drain the blood and we mix it with the Passover blood. And then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own. And we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets. And the people, they eat it for breakfast. They eat their children for lunch. And, you know, as Jews, you know, we gotta do what we do. The most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstrom, and me, Rabbi Aby Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
And we know that there's a massive collision that's going to take place between two forces, don't we?
Well, that's what your book says. Our book says that we're going to take over the world.
Well, I look at you...
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yes, you've done a pretty good job, but you know, there's quite an awakening coming. And, my father, who's not your father, my father Yahweh, who isn't your father, of course, your father is talked about by my father in John 8:44, stating that your father was Satan and that you're the descendant of Cain, who was the first murderer. And you know that's true because you teach it in your synagogue.
Well, that's true, but it's not for you Goyim to know. But right now it's too late. It's over for you, white race. So that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can see it for what it is. You've been teaching the people real good, but they don't wake up, do they? You don't get a lot of followers, do they? Because you know why? They're scared of us Jews, because they don't want to be called anti-Semites, and they believe that we're the chosen people, and so that's why we can do whatever we want to do, and we can get away with it because the white men are cowards, and we go to the synagogue all the time and have some Manischewitz and dance the Hava Nagila.
You know, it's interesting. I've told people for years and years, it's not that you Jews are hiding anything. You're coming right out on television, in the newspapers, on the radio, and you're telling the people exactly what you're going to do before you do it, and they're like they're brain dead.
Well, we did a good job with the public school system. We got you to put all of your children in there. You notice that the Jew doesn't put his children in there. They go to the Hebrew Academy where we teach them the real things, and then they go to the synagogue and they learn the real important things. But we send your kids to the public school. We even have you tax yourself from your property so that you never own your property. And so if you don't make your property tax, we're going to take your property. You can bet on that. And we have you put your kid in a 12-year babysitting is about all it does, because you don't learn anything. And then by that time, the kids, they get to be teenagers, and then we give them the music. Not that we really want to call it music, because, oy vey, that's not music. But they listen to that, and then they want to do what they want to do, and so we sell them drugs, and we make a lot of money off your children. Your children from cradle to grave. All we do is make money off of them. Your cattle, your goyim, the human cattle. Mazel tov.
Human cattle. Yeah, that's how they see us.
Telling you people, this is not about underage girls. This is about satanic ritual abuse. What did we find in the Epstein files yesterday? Adrenochrome. What else did we find? He is using the name Ball to do banking transactions at JP Morgan. Ball is the satanic effigy. They used to make an iron effigy of Ball, get it red hot, and then they would set the child on there and let it sizzle on the winter solstice. That is what Christmas is. That is what Santa Claus is. That is why they put the child on Santa Claus's lap. Santa Claus, which is Satan. But this is the real deal, people. Have you heard of a thing called misprison of a felony? What that means is any official that does not report a felony is guilty of a felony. So whoever redacted these Epstein reports, whoever is withholding these Epstein files, they are guilty of misprison a felony. In 2009, I caught a child trafficking payment what I believe was a container of children coming from Asia to Hollywood. Yeah, it was front page LA Times in 2013. The FBI investigated it. The FBI called me 6 months ago asking about my social media, and I said, hey, I was the broker on this child trafficking IHC, International Humanities Center, which is 983-911. I've been trying to get this child trafficking case into the court for 15 years, but instead, what do? They tackle me in the streets, they swamp my house, they try and kill me in jail, they steal my child, and when none of that works, they torture my child to try and provoke me to get me in jail. They are all guilty of misprison of felony with these Epstein files. They know what's going on, they have the files, they redacted the files, they are all guilty. These courts are not courts, they are secret society Stasi star chambers. They are protecting the child traffickers. That makes them guilty of child trafficking. It's called misprison a felony, and now we have proof because it's in the Epstein files. And who redacted the files? The Department of Justice, right? And their address is 950, because I keep telling you that is square and compass.
Since I've been going through the Epstein files, I found these things: mutants, time travel talk, Biden's body double with hyper-realistic masks, human cloning, designer babies, human sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, multiple presidents gang raping a dude and cutting off his feet, torture with public officials, organ harvesting, the Illuminati and a list of members, ritualistic child sacrifice, eating babies and dismembering them, confirmation that Pizzagate was real, as well as adrenochrome, which means they're actually transfusing and drinking the blood of scared babies. We have Israeli connections as well as intelligence connections. Tons of really wild claims and photo evidence. President Trump accused of raping a little teenager girl and many others, along with many other celebrities and politicians doing basically the same thing. Intense amounts of honeypot and blackmailing. Bitcoin connection, talking about Satoshi, discussing creating transgendered 3-year-olds. And the people involved with securing him into jail testified to falsifying evidence. Plus, there was a non-prosecution agreement years before that, meaning the government could not prosecute Jeffrey Epstein or his people. That's why Ghislaine Maxwell, the Disney child recruiter, was trying to use that to get out of her sentence. MK Ultra style discussions about how trauma and traumatized people can unlock supernatural abilities. For some reason, they were talking about planning the pandemic years before it happened. Not to mention the systemic protection of pedophiles and the constant neglect of victims and witness testimony. Somehow, with all this evidence, we've seen no investigations, no prosecution. I feel like this is the age of disclosure, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year, they disclose aliens. At this point, we need a protest, or they're just gonna keep doing it. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been mad about this for a long time, and I feel like this is our only chance to band together and stop this right now. So my hope is that you hear these things and you realize this is not a science fiction movie. This is real life. This is happening now. My name is Static G. Please follow me.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me.
I said Epstein is just the tip of the iceberg, and I really did mean that. So listen to what the former CIA director, CIA officer said himself, straight from the horse's mouth. This goes fucking deep. Save the fucking children. Stay vigilant out there. Don't trust anyone with your child.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery. or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. The other working assumption is how long do these children survive? What I am hearing from the witnesses that I've talked to is 2 years.
The first Nazi book burning took place in 1933. Nazis raided the Berlin Institute of Sexology, founded by Magnus Hirschfeld, who was a gay and Jewish sexologist and physician. Nazis seized all books from the institute and publicly burned them, destroying material on transsexualism, homosexuality, and gender identity. They also burned pornography as it was considered sexually degrading and immoral. Nazis believed pornography was harmful to society. They believed family and cultural values had been replaced by moral decay. Everything I just described is exactly how so many of us feel about what's going on today. This is a speech at the first book burning. Yes to decency and morality in family and state. Here, the intellectual foundation of the November Republic is sinking to the ground. But from these ashes, the phoenix of a new spirit will rise. They never fucking give up, do they?
Bet you didn't see this.
Anyone that wants to take the stage and talk about dual loyalty is dead wrong. What this organization represents, what Western civilization represents today, is an understanding that Zionism and Americanism are the front lines of Western civilization and freedom in our world today.
Keep watching.
Zionism and Nazism are two sides of the same coin.
Well, they actually did mint a coin. Zionism and Nazism cooperated to get Jews out of Germany because both of them believed that Jews should not be in Germany. That's a matter of historical fact.
He said
you don't actually need to bring the historian from America. You could bring many historians from Israel. This is not a secret. It's only a secret to those now waking up to it. They were cooperating because they had the same idea, that the European Jews should not be in Europe. They should be in Palestine.
But wait, there's more. Was a man by the name of Theodor Herzl, H-E-R-Z-L. He was the founder of Zionism. He said that he was going to find the state that God promised the Jews. Listen to this very carefully. This man, Herzl, was an atheist. He believed that there was no God. He said God did not exist. Now, how is it that a man who believes that God does not exist is going to find a state that God promised to his chosen people? I'm telling you, this man is Satan in disguise. Zionism is a satanic movement. It is devil. It is imperialism. It is racist. It has gone and taken the lands of the Palestinian people and through terrorism has driven them out. And through terrorism, it maintains its power. And the United States of America, with over 6 million homeless, sends to Israel billions and billions and billions of dollars everywhere to bomb Palestinian people while homeless people are here and unemployed are here.
I don't know about you, but that's not something I want to be a part of. That's not something I want to support. And it sure seems like anybody who doesn't want to support this and doesn't want to be a part of it is slowly becoming the new enemy.
Hang on to your seat, baby, because this one's a screamer. Zionism is going to raise this war and make the people of America become clear to what it is and become anti-Zionist and stop the aid to Israel and use the money to take care of the homeless in this country.
All of these dead children, 98% of our government is still kissing Israel's ass. It's pro-genocide. I accuse them of being deeply immoral scumbags. Oh, where's the money? Where's the money? Our politicians sicken me. And our media, oh, no. Oh, no. Congressional hearings on anti-Semitism. Protect the poor Israelis. The real problem is how you guys are offending the Israelis. No, the politicians, they're not crooks. They're not, ignore the AIPAC money. If you say AIPAC money, oh, that's it, you're hateful. You know, shut up. Lie on behalf of Israel. You have to lie on behalf of Israel. That's what mainstream media says. If you work at mainstream media and you still haven't called it a genocide, you're a coward. You're a sniveling, immoral, deeply evil coward. I'm sick of the people in power in this country using it to abuse people. They never help us. They never help us. We've given Israel $310 billion. And then Israel comes and says, you owe us. You owe us. Are you kidding me? We don't owe you a goddamn thing. We should cut off Israel. They're not an ally. Let's be clear about it. No one has gotten us in more trouble. No one has caused more harm, no one has caused more wars in my lifetime than Israel. Israel is not our ally. At this point, they are our enemy. They take money from us. They incriminate us to the whole world. They implicate us in their immoral war crimes. No one has hurt this country more than Israel has. Israel is our top enemy. Enemy! Cut off the goddamn funding. You're taking my money to murder Palestinian children. You goddamn racist. That's how I feel about it. Young Turk.
This is the most disgusting thing in the Epstein files, so scroll now because I'm just gonna start reading it. The photo shows a girl, her face visible, who looks prepubescent with medium-length dark hair. Several Caucasian men are holding the girl's legs spread open. Her lady part is visible and gashed, and there is blood coming out. In the photo's foreground, a man with a white shirt appears to be inserting his hand or something into her lady part. A round imprinted symbol of some kind is visible on the girl's leg on the underside of her left thigh. An arm holds the girl's knee in the air. The girl's mouth looks bloody and her tongue is extended. There is a bruise under her left eye and a red mark on the left side of her neck. Her left shin is bleeding and there are purplish bruises on her abdomen.
Iran is not an existential threat to Israel, but it is a strategic threat. Now, let's compare the records of these two countries. Iran has never attacked a neighbor. Israel has repeatedly attacked its neighbors. Iran signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Israel has refused to sign. Iran submits to inspection by the International Nuclear Energy Agency. Israel refuses to submit. Iran has no nuclear weapons. Israel has between 75 and 400 nuclear weapons. So Israel poses an existential threat to Iran.
Was Jews the whole time. All the discrimination in banking and housing and finance from black people, Jews were responsible for it. Niggas love to cry about redlining, but they failed to recognize that Jews were the main ones discriminating against blacks financially. Jews would often take white Christian names to blend in and appear as white to put the blame on white people. Black people are the only people in America that are unaware of how Jews played a significant role in discriminating against blacks and whites in America. And I think that's about to change. Wake up, Goyim.
Get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians. You have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there's a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
Can someone explain to me this mystery? Who would have guessed that when you mix heavy metals, mold exposure, unchecked parasites, infections, chronic stress, low stomach acid, LEDs, pesticides, antibiotic-laced meat, synthetic fertilizers, PFAs, BPA, glyphosate, fluoride, industrial seed oils, GMOs, blue light, EMF exposure, artificial sweeteners, processed foods, synthetic fragrances, and Teflon, that people would get sick?
Was Schicksal ist das Schicksal. Aber lebt es. Und die haben das doch aufgegessen. Und es waren dann nur noch Haare und alle anderen Knochenteile übrig. Und Augen, Zähne.
This guy worked with the president in the first term. Didn't last very long because the president would not listen to him. He would not take legal advice from this person. He doesn't take legal advice from anybody because he doesn't care about the law.
He's got his mandate, and he's doing it.
It's not a normal American government anymore. You got to get that out of your head, guys. It's not a normal American government anymore. This has been a hostile takeover of your government, and it's been a hostile takeover of the processes and the respect for the government. You could hate George W. Bush. He's an institutionalist. He followed the government. You could hate Richard Nixon, institutionalist. Pick the president. Donald Trump is an anti-institutionalist. He wants to annihilate the system, and he's got a list of things that he wants to do to annihilate the system. He wrote it all down for you. Go read it. What are we doing? Are we going to really sit here and pretend that this is not happening to the country? But I can't do that. I'm not doing that. And I know the guy, and I know what he's capable of, and I know the team around him. So I'll speak out, and if it gives you the courage to speak out, please speak out. Get on the phone and call your congressman or woman. What the hell are you doing? We don't want to wreck the system. He doesn't have a mandate to wreck the system. He won by 300,000 votes.
He makes some really good points. We're doing really well. We don't need to take away your Medicare. It makes no sense. We don't need to institutionally force AI on everybody and build out these server banks in the middle of nowhere to fucking power something that Americans don't want. Not one American I've spoken to wants to live in a surveillance state. This is all being thrust upon you. Epstein files, CIA, Mossad. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You promised to kill the deep state, and all you're doing is empowering the deep state.
That she loved it. Okay, she loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm, it's your testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well, based on her interview with Anderson Cooper.
I just found this email in the Epstein files, okay? It's literally to Jeffrey Epstein from James Hayward. Listen to this. We need to discuss World War III. The investors want to know if we are still planning February 8th, 2026. Please be advised that I am on vacation till July 29th. I will be attempting to be off-grid. That email was written in July of 2018. Did they predict in 2018 that there was going to be a war in 2026 in February? This just, I mean, if you don't think that there are any such thing as coincidences, this just is mind-blowing. And if you don't think that Jeffrey Epstein is in some international, worldwide corruption, you are sadly mistaken, because this guy was global.
I don't know why I'm so fascinated lately with where we went wrong in America. Maybe because we need to make these things right, but how do we at this point? Like, how did this small little group of people sink their claws into America and literally conquer every pivotal cultural pillar of our entire lives? Anyway, did you know that the first Model A Ford car, Henry Ford, it ran off of ethanol derived from corn, so farmers could literally produce their own fuel. So they were running engines, not just off a car, from their agriculture. So what were we told about the prohibition? That there was this huge moral crisis because of too much alcohol consumption, so the government had to come save us. But do you think there might be another side to that story?
Rockefeller was the best monopolist we've ever had. So we had a monopoly on oil and then transport and things like that. And they busted it up. So, well, what did he do? One thing he did, people don't know this, the original Model T Ford ran on corn alcohol. So a farmer could make their own fuel in their field. Why do you think he spent $1 million on funding prohibition for 8 years, which banned all fermentation, not just for drinking alcohol, just long enough to get gas stations based on petroleum out there? And then, why did he fund the formation of the American Medical Association to go after and destroy natural medicine? Because pharmaceutical ingredients are all petroleum. So the big pharma companies were spun out of big oil companies. So big oil funded big chemical, and these big chemical companies funded big pharma. And they all come from the Rockefeller monopolistic thing. And even the latest evil stuff like the Bill Gates things going on, people don't know this. He's the largest owner of farmland in the country. You know what Bill Gates' dad did?
What?
He was Rockefeller's top attorney.
Anyway.
According to the Department of Justice, Donald Trump and a whole bunch of other rich people participated in a gang blank of a 13-year-old girl. And that 13-year-old girl was a niece of one of the guys participating in that gang. And then she was impregnated. And then 9 months later, when she gave birth, Donald Trump was there to take that newborn and then toss it in Lake Michigan. And MAGA will still support him. They will always support him because it's not a political party, it's a cult.
The radio today that due to the increased cost of diesel fuel and the increased cost of fertilizer, that grocery store prices are going to go up because farmers are having to charge more. Are you kidding me? That's how misinformed the general public is about farming. So yeah, input costs have gone up. And if I were to call my milk plant and said, hey, the cost of diesel went up, I need more for my milk, you know what they'd do? They'd laugh at me. If I called up the grain elevator and said, I'm going to need more for my corn because the price of fertilizer went up, you know what they'd say? Too bad. Take it or leave it. So, I got a prediction. The price of groceries are going to go up because they're going to use the farmer as a scapegoat in order to raise the prices. Blame us. So it goes back to more. Question everything.
As I walk these streets for the third time today, I ask myself why it makes them all think I'm astray. Don't know how I became so hated today. Is it just me, or do they all seem insane? Building up their wealth so they could spend millions for days. Some of these truly demented ones could spend $1 million a day. Some of these fuckers own islands, some people say. Some are building the bunkers, you see, to hide themselves from the rest of society. Because the rest of us barely have enough to eat. It's all okay as long as I'm both their dinner for them to eat. Some of these rich bastards really do like to eat people meat. Not really that bad when most of us eat the beef. So we think because all meat we eat is red, you see. They have been telling us for years there isn't enough cows to eat. Burger King, Mickey D's, even that chick called Wendy. Even our Walmart meat is truly a mystery, you see. They don't even weigh, it seems a bit like fraud to me. So who's to say we aren't cannibals for eating that meat? If it's not red enough, just put some drops of that red 40. Because that's also poison is what they are telling me. Messing us all up by giving us all that others do. It's all oil-based petroleum to me. Our meds, our fuel, even a lot of foods we eat. It's all by design. They give us the poison while they have their greed, making us fight, thinking it's race when it's really lack of wealth, you see. All my struggles be fighting with me, cause in the land of the free, the freedom isn't really free, you see. So just fight for it is what we all believe. But after war is over, life is still a struggle. After all, ask the homeless if they feel free.